Anybody who was somebody in those years and decades wore a Jose Moreno, a Pitoy Moreno.
If you needed a beautiful piece of Filipiniana, Pitoy would come to your mind.
So what was your first meeting with him? How did you first come across Pitoy Moreno? The costumes were something that most critics noticed, right?
On stage, you could already see how beautiful it, from the colors to the execution to the swaying of the skirt and that when you turn, and it was fabulous.
Actually, it was on our second trip because we were required to, have some clothes made for the trip. Like a terno, a cocktail dress, and so forth. And he would go across the street from PWU because his shop was just in front of the university.
Maribel, you were on the first tour. What was your recollection of the costumes then?
Already beautiful because, especially in the Spanish the suite, when they come out, because the others in Maria Clara, and you can hear the and the and the you could hear them.
Were his costumes based on historical data, or was this purely from his creative mind?
I would say Tita Bill Santos, our costume director and designer, has a lot to do with the design, and the execution was done by Pitoy.
Were you shocked, Nina, by the color combinations that you were made to wear?
That was really a signature trademark of Bayanihan, and people made a lot of good comments about it.
Was he already into Filipiniana at that time?
Yes, the society girls would get married.
Yeah.
And they have the debuts, the
Yes.
children. He always does the native-inspired gowns, ternos, especially for the mother of the bridesmaid or the groom.
I understand, Maribel, for example, your wedding gown was made by Pitoy.
I didn't want a terno, but he was the one who said, no, you're Bayanihan, you have to wear a terno on your wedding day. After he finished my gown, I paid only for 700 pesos.
Ikaw, Lina, your wedding gown was also made by Pitoy.
The theme that I wanted was Muslim, which Pitoy was not known for. So it was in white bridal satin and 2 long trails to back.
Was Pitoy showy in his style?
Very feminine.
Simple and elegant.
The embroidery, the beadwork.
Yes.
Yeah, he went into that.
I think Bayanihan influenced his design on Philippine costumes so that in his succeeding clients who would get married, it would always be a terno or a Filipino-inspired ensemble.
Anong klaseng boss si Pitoy? What kind of a person was he as a boss?
Ako, he's very strict.
Very strict.
Kasi ang kanyang work ethics is really, don't waste your time. Kung magagawa mo today, gawin mo na ngayon.
Ano ang pagka-stricto niya?
Basta maayos yung trabaho mo sa kanya, walang problema yun, ganun siya. Ang gusto niya kasi perfectionist. Gusto niya sa mga tauhan niya matuto para pag kumbaga kung may tinanim, may aanihin din po ako. Kaya ngayon, naani ko na po yung
So papunta tayo ngayon sa second floor ng shop ng J.Moreno at ito yung kanyang desk. Every morning, pagkagising niya, dito siya uupo, have breakfast here. Mga tao dito siguro mga 7 workers doing the gowns, doing the cutting, doing the sewing of suit, coats, and pants. Tapos nandito yung mga makina. Normally dito yung mga sa dressmaking, bandaro ng tailoring, parong Tagalog in everything.
Nung pumasok po talaga po ako, Tagalaba lang po. Tapos sabi niya sa mga kasamahan ko po, naturuan po daw ako. Halimbawa po sa lilip, tapos mag-beads.
ako naman, nag-aasikaso na lang ng mga pagkain.
Mahilig daw kayo maghanda dito? Totoo ba yun?
Nung medyo malakas pa si Mr. Moreno, parang 3 times a week. Hindi naman maramihan na tao yon. Basta mostly dyan, kari-kari, may relyenong bangos, sutangon soup.
At saka, nakalimutan nyo, yung buko salad.
Bago pa nga minsan magpasko, may gumagawa na kami. Kasi lahat ng mga model-model niya, pinapadalhan eh.
Ano yung natatandaan nyo sa pinagsamahan nyo?
Yung kakain po kami, unahin po niya kami pakainin bago siya.
Kayo naman, Aling Vic, anong inyong alaala sa kanya?
Nung 2004, namatay yung aking mister. Tinulungan niya ako nang magpaaral ng anak ko na bunso.
And you? What is your lasting memory of your uncle?
Yung kanyang work ethics. Pag meron siyang gustong gawin, kailangan magawa matapos ng tama. Hindi pwedeng bara-bara ang gawa. Whether personal, professional, pareho naman.
Not many people know that Pitoy Moreno's character was such that he knew how to keep relationships. When you say high society, I'm not referring only to the affluent society, but also to the society of political power, social power, and even culture. Pitoy had ties in every aspect of society.
Miss Brazil does the honors as she crowns Gemma Cruz, who wins the title of Miss International Beauty.
I won the Miss Philippines, and then I was sent to Long Beach because the Miss International was held in Long Beach, California. So the next day, all the contestants go to the poolside. So I thought it's the first press conference. So I said, I'm going to wear Pitoy's Maria Clara. So when I went to the poolside, lo and behold, everybody was wearing a bathing suit. But it was too late to change already because the press conference was going on. So one of them asked me, what are you wearing? Oh, this is one of our national dresses. No? And then I said, in my country, we're really quite shy about wearing a bathing suit in public.
Conchita Sunico was a society figure. In today's generation, that would be an influencer. When Macapagal became president, Conchita Sunico was organizing fashion shows, was active in culture, and of course, naturally, Pitoy, being one of the foremost designers of the 60s, would have to be in Conchita Sunico's sphere.
When you got men, you chose Pitoy.
Yes, I said, can you please tell him to make it Moro inspired? Piña, embroidered piña, which is Pitoy's favorite. But please make the design Moro inspired. And then there was like a cape. He was very consistent in promoting the Filipino designs in the gowns and dresses that he made. Pitoy was in the center of it no matter who the political and social rulers were. He was one constant of Philippine society and culture. And so when there were visiting foreign dignitaries here, naturally, the first ladies would ask Pitoy to stage fashion shows for them. Or if, let's say, there were opportunities to hold shows abroad, he would present fashion shows in the capitals of the world, Washington, Paris, and present the Filipiniana collection. So Pitoy, being the honorary Blue Lady and very close to Mrs. Marcos, it was just natural that he would help her organize Bagong Anyo. You haven't arrived if you're not in Bagong Anyo. And it was a spectacle that high society and visiting dignitaries could look forward to. Pitoy Moreno was the power behind Bagong Anyo. He would choose the designers who would join and not join. He was a gatekeeper of that fashion tradition.
Recognize the achievements of outstanding Filipinos for their valuable service to the Filipino people and their laudable contributions to the nation. And therefore, Mr. President, I would like to ask that this resolution be adopted by the body and to be sent to the family of the late Jose Pitoy Moreno.
Pitoy Moreno was an institution in Philippine society and culture. He was a mover. He was a constant presence in not only in Philippine fashion but also in the promotion of Filipino culture to the world.
First met Pitoy as the Dean of the College of Fine Arts. No? He had a very soft spot for his alma mater. For over 40 years, Pitoy annually awarded student scholarships to the UP College of Fine Arts and the UP College of Medicine. I think he wanted, first of all, to provide an opportunity for many other students who were struggling even to get the opportunity for education.
Sir Pitoy Moreno is looking for poor but deserving student. Luckily, I am one of the recipient, and because of him, natapos ko yung pag-aaral ko in 5 years.
He graduated in 1951 among other art luminaries who became very well-known and even national artists.
Because I am a Manubo, may mga illustration siya na may mga inspired from the Lumad or indigenous people.
Pitoy has actually elevated the sensibilities for fashion in the 60s and 70s and a heightened awareness for Philippine culture, especially the handiwork and Philippine materials like husi and piña.
I think more than other designers or couturiers, Pitoy Moreno had a sense of his place, not only in Philippine fashion, but also in Philippine modern history and culture. Pitoy should be given credit not so much only for his design work or his sketches or his embroidery, but how he persistently and with such tenacity brought Filipino costumes, formal wear, fashion to the world.